Which one are you recording?
Hello, hello. We're happy to be here. This is a recorded version of this amazing show, Unlocking Freedom in Nature with Tammy and Lori. And as you see, another beautiful face, because yes, another, because Tammy and I are already beautiful, right?
Exactly, right?
We see another beautiful face, and that is Theresa Fitzgerald. And we're recording this because she's in Australia. So she's like,
She's
what,
a total
16
day
hours?
ahead of us, right, Theresa? It's 8 a.m. around.
Yeah, 9. Yeah, we're in daylight savings now, so yeah.
Oh, okay. So you started your daylight savings even earlier than us. So, okay. We don't start ours till in November.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon. It will make things more interesting. So Theresa, she's an author, an intuitive alchemist, and a mentor. She has co-authored with international personal and spiritual development leaders and entrepreneurs, such as Deepak Chopra, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Esther and Gerry Hicks, Mark Victor Hansen, and Neale Donald Walsh in the book named In the Spirit of Success. So look that up, guys. And her book, Become Your Own Guru, How to Live an Empowered and Meaningful Life, became a holistic handbook for daily guidance for readers all over the world. Theresa guides and mentors visionary women through cutting-edge intuitive methods to shift out of old limiting paradigms, discover their true power, and create the life of their dreams. So Theresa has also been blessed with a loving partner for 35 years, and she's a mother of 3 children and the grandma of 5 grandbabies. So we all here have that in common. We all have 5 grandbabies for now.
I know. It's funny that we all have 5 grandbabies or kids. I have teenagers, so.
So welcome, Theresa. I'm so excited. We were just trying to fine tune what is it that we're going to talk about today, and there's a lot. So I'm just ready for Theresa to share her passion also for nature and art. So go ahead.
Exactly. And I just want to say shout out to everyone that's watching. Make sure you not just like it, love it. Make sure you share this video. And I want to put a plug in there for Theresa. I met her in person in Scottsdale, and she's as wonderful as she looks. So she is so sweet. So thank you so much, Theresa, for being here with us today. So, and Theresa likes to travel, and she likes to spend time in nature. So maybe you would like to talk about a little bit about your safari you went on.
Yes.
Sure. Firstly, thank you so much, Tammy and Lori, for having me on. It was a great honor to receive your invitation. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to dropping some pearls of wisdom and some ahas alongside you for your audience. Yes, the soul of Africa. I'd never been to Africa before. I am a traveler. I love travel, and what I love about travel is connecting, to different places in nature. For me, nature is our greatest teacher, and when I'm in nature, I love to connect because it really drops you deep into who you are. If we want to discover our true nature, for me, I go, well, go and sit in nature. Because when we're in nature, we come into a state within ourselves where we can come into a different level of observation and witness, externally, but also have an opportunity to have that deeper connection within ourselves. And going to Africa, where you go with the intention of you're going into the wild. Like, there were different aspects to our trip. We went to Swaziland, and then we went to a game reserve at I've forgotten the name of it, but it's where Richard Branson's Cheers. And this sense of when you're going to safari, you're going out into the wild of nature, and that induces a very different state within yourself, where you can face your fears of having a tiger or a lion, actually it's not a tiger, it's a leopard, a leopard walk right past your open air vehicle, you know, and witness what's happening internally, but also witness, you know, the grandeur and the connection that you have with yourself and with your own fears, but also with the ability to transcend those fears and be present with something so majestic and wild, and harness and gain the clarity and wisdom of the qualities of the animal that you're viewing, and bring those home to, well, how do they relate to me? And so there's this synergistic, symbiotic experience that you have when you can be present, you know, with the wild animals, or that was my experience with the wild animals on safari, you know, within that environment, was really, really, truly profound. Yeah.
It sounds like it. It kind of reminds me of like going, I mean, here we don't have leopards and elephants, but we have moose, we have bear, we have cougar, or if you go over to Yellowstone National Park, there's the bison and wolves and different things. But you're absolutely right. When you get to sit there and you just watch them and observe, you know, it's, I don't know, there's just something special about it. You know, I know exactly. It doesn't matter how many times we've seen the moose or how many times we've seen the deer, or just like the turkeys. I went down to feed my chickens the other day, and there's 20 turkeys. You know, this is down there. I'm like, okay, I'm not feeding you guys. I'm only feeding the chickens. And they just stay, of course. The animals here are not afraid of me. But it's so interesting because I just love watching them, you know, and when you watch them and observe them, it takes your mind off all the stress and anxieties of life.
So how was that for you, Theresa? Like, Tammy seems to be very at ease and comfortable. They're birds and they're familiar with her. I think she's familiar with them. I think you have mentioned the wild turkeys being there enough, like being there for so long already, they feel at home. But for you, I was intrigued by that. It can be a dichotomy, right? Like a contradiction between like facing the fear and at the same time allowing yourself to let the fear go and coexisting or honoring and respecting each other. So how was that experience? Were you on a Jeep or a car, and it's still like your heart is pounding because you're so close to it? Or there's a time where you told your mind, hey, calm down, everything's gonna be okay? And if that's what happened, how was that transition? I'm so intrigued to know.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question, Laurie. For me, the fear was before I went, because I'd seen another group posting images, and those images were online, and those images were so close. And that's when the fear sort of showed up. First of all, it's like, wow, you really were that close. Like, it wasn't a photo zoom, and they said, yes, we were that close. And so that's where the fear kind of started to kick in, which is something we all do, right? We see something and our mind takes us to that place. And so when I got there, and we saw that we were in open air vehicles, you know, the guides were great. They gave us all the instructions about what to do, what not to do. They explained that the animals are used to the shape of the vehicle. And if we stood up or if we put our hand out, that would change the shape of the vehicle. So there would be two things that the animals would do. They would fight or they would flight, right? Because they weren't familiar with that new shape. So that familiarity aspect was there in a way. But at the same time, there's a level of trust occurring here because you're in a vehicle with 8 or 9 other humans, right? And we all get excited, want to take photos, you know, all of these things. People are in their own actions and reactions. So for me at that time, I just notice, you know, if there's fear, like my heart never got to the stage of pounding or anything like that, because I just went into a state of presence, which I'm very familiar with. And with that, just noticing, you know, what comes up in that moment for me, whether it's a thought or an emotion, but just noticing it and giving witness to it, becoming present with it, because the reality was nothing was occurring in that moment. And that's something that I practice a lot is, well, is this fear real or is it imagined? And often, you know, the fears are imagined. You know, the other side of it was that I had an awareness around survival, you know, and witnessing all the different animals. They're in an ecosystem where some of the animals are food for other animals, right? And, you know, it brought a great awareness into terms of the nature of survival, you know, and for ourselves. For me, you know, when I was on this particular trip, I was dealing with, you know, trauma. You know, I wanted to neutralize trauma from the past, which related to the survival instinct within myself. And so being there with the animals in the wild, possibilities, you know, fear, possibilities of something occurring. I mean, the tour guide did tell us people get killed. But also going to that deeper level of witnessing how they all coexist with that threat of dying, with that threat of being the next meal, and how powerful, you know, instincts are. And so one of the biggest wisdom bombs I got from the safari is how powerful our instincts are. You know, and I don't think that we rely on our instincts in life enough. We've gone too far into the instinct of fear and being anchored in fear, you know, for that threat or something reoccurring that may have occurred in the past. Yet the environment taught me that, you know, everyone lives together, you know, in the reserve, and utilize their instincts to be aware when there is danger and move forward from there.
There's so much here. Like there's so many. You talked about pearls of wisdom, Tammy and I share. You are sharing nuggets of gold.
Oh yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah. So there's that. Those threats are, you know, if we use it metaphorically, life can be like a safari, right? We are presented with those things that are threatening us, our peace, whether they're real sources and things for real, or whether they're like created by our own imagination and anxieties, right? Because that's what I like to explain. Our mind is a canvas, and people usually use, or a screen, the screen of your imagination, they use it to recreate. And this is so amazing, and how courageous you were that I think you designed this trip for that purpose of healing and facing your own fears and wanting to heal, because people live in that scene, the trauma scene, the trauma chapter of the book, the trauma canvas. And with that same intensity and creativity, we recreate that and create that. We can reprogram it. We can just put a new color on it, change the channel if it's a screen of your imagination, of your mind, and flip it, change that to something better. So do you think, Theresa, that you accomplished what you went seeking for?
Absolutely.
Yay, that's fantastic.
I'd been aware of this trauma aspect, you know, and been working with it for a very, very, very long time. And there was this one piece, right, that was so anchored and so calcified, and it was, yeah, and yeah, being in that experience really, you know, really neutralized that aspect in terms of how I view the world now, in terms of how I utilize my imagination as well. You know, one of the other pieces of gold that came from that was that, you know, our imagination is really, really powerful, and it can destroy our dreams or it can realize them.
They can paralyze it. Like you said, there's freeze, fight, or flight. I mean, I want to ask you, if you were to describe with one word, how was that state of being for you in one word or a phrase versus how is it now? The before and after.
Wow.
I'm sorry you didn't throw a hard question out there.
One
You
word.
don't need to answer if it's too hard or painful instead of.
Yeah, I'm just letting it drop in.
This is the coaching side of me.
I'll use two words. Before, playing small.
Oh.
After, unstoppable.
Awesome. Those are great. So I have a question. This is going on the opposite side. I have to throw it out there, twist it, because what you said is so wise. It's, you know, of your fears and stuff. But then you get the people who are not afraid, do not take any precautions. Like we'll have people that they teach people that moose are dangerous in our area. You know, they teach it in the schools. Do not approach a moose. Do not approach bison because they can charge, they can trample you, they'll run you up a tree. They're extremely dangerous. Kind of like the leopards are not that kitty that you would put on your lap, I'm sure. So did you have any experience, you know, you have the people that think that there's not, you know, like, oh, we can just do anything, and they don't respect the nature or the things that come, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just throwing a total twist on everything that you said, because everything you said is totally amazing and correct and right on. I totally agree, and I love it that you're sharing this, but I wanted to throw out the difference, you know, totally opposite.
Yeah, that's a great question, because when we were on safari, we were very blessed because there were 2, you know, male lions and 3 female lionesses and 9 little cubs. In the, we come across them. We were actually, the guide said, you know, no groups ever see this number of animals. Like, we never usually see all these, and these ones never really come to our reserve. They're from a neighboring reserve. And when you're really, really, like, really close to them in the vehicle, that sensation of, oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. I just want to put my arm out and touch them. Was there, right? And we had to be in the tension of, well, yes, they're so cute, but put my arm out there. And we also had like a medium-sized elephant come up to the truck as well and swaying the trunk around and things like that. And it's very, very tempting to go, oh yes. So there is that side of it as well, for sure. But, you know, we have to remember, you know, where we sit, don't we?
Yeah.
And what level of risk we ourselves are willing to take.
Right. So I think, Tammy, what you're saying, that's beautifully answered by Theresa. And then with that, I want to add that there's the knowledge, right? What they shared with you in the orientation or whatever before you went. But here are the parameters. They're familiar with the shape of the Jeep. But then you need to, there's the boundaries we need to set in life, for personal boundaries that we set for others. And we are the ones that teach others how to treat us. So the lions are of a nature, right? And then we need to understand, I've seen videos, to your point, Tammy, of people running towards a lion and a lioness. Obviously, they're either trainers or they're friends or something that create those bonds with those creatures that can be threatening, life-threatening, but at the same time, there's ways to go around it. And once we're educated and we learn what the boundaries are, do not do this, that's a trigger with each other, with life, with foolish risks we can take versus entrepreneurial risks that can give us something good in return, or no, that didn't work, let's just try and shift it this way. So those are very great insights on a safari. You can write a whole book on your safari experience.
I know. I want to see more. I want to see pictures if you got any.
Yeah, absolutely. I can drop them in your group if you like. Would you like that?
I would love it. Of course.
Thank you so much for being here, Theresa. We appreciate your willingness to make this arrangement so we can record this and it can be in the group. You're already a member of the group, correct? You're already inside our group, so please make comments. Mondays are a great way for you to market yourself and your products and services. And as you shift gears, reinventing yourself, now you're unstoppable. We are excited to see what happens in your journey.
And thanks because you did exactly your story fits so perfect in with our topic, unlocking freedom in nature. I mean, you are, total living example. So I appreciate it. And we definitely have to have you back on because we just have not had enough time.
Yeah. So this is another way nature helps us in our journey to healing and freedom, because now she's unstoppable. That now she's free from that trauma, from those limitations, and that is amazing. Thanks for sharing that story with us, Theresa. And we'll see you guys on the next time. Like Tammy says, share this goodness with somebody else, and we will appreciate it, and like and comment. And we are anxious to hear your stories and impressions and reflections on Theresa's experience. So
and if you have any questions, please ask Theresa. I'm sure she'd love to answer them. And we just want to thank everyone for being here today. So thank you so much.